The best tournament in football is finally here. Chat, how we doing? It's your boy Slater, and I want to give you guys my predictions on the group tables for the UCL. Now, I want to do this for the Prem as well, actually, but I just forgot when it started, and then it kicked off, and now I feel like I'm too far gone. So with the games kicking off, when you're seeing this today, I want to get out my UCL group stage predictions, so that way we can do predictions the entirety of the tournament. Now, disregard the times that are on the games that you're seeing because, first of all, they're central time, so they probably don't matter to you, and also it's going to say tomorrow, but tomorrow is today. But these are all the games that are happening over the next 2 days, this Tuesday and Wednesday, and then next match day will be next week. To help make my predictions, I wanted to share with you guys some websites that you can use too, because I actually really enjoyed using these to help make my predictions for the group stage. This is worldfootball.net. I just typed in UCL predictor and it was one of the results that came up. I really like this one the most because it actually just gives you every single result for each group individually. Then you just type out your expected results for those games. You click calculate and it pulls up your wins, draws, and losses for each team that you calculated, goal differential, stuff like that in a full table. And you can do it for every single team and group. So I really like this. Worldfootball.net is one option that you can use. Another option you guys can use is UEFA.com. This is a predictor, but they only do it for match days. They don't actually show the group totals, which I don't like as much, but is a lot cleaner of a setup. You create an account on the UEFA Champions League website. You can tally your results, and then you can actually track them throughout the entirety of the tournament. So if you want something that's going to like tell you what your results were the entire time, and you want to predict all the games, you can do so here. It also shows you popular predictions, which I really enjoyed. You can play against your friends, so if you guys want to team up and compare and contrast to each other, it's an option for you too. And you can just pick, like, I think Man U's going to win by 2-0, and you move on to the next game, right? So your prediction gets saved. So those are two options for you guys if you do want to do predictions too. We start with Group A. These are going to go alphabetically. So if you want to fast forward to wherever the team that you root for and whatever group that they're in to see the prediction, feel free to do so. First, we of course have Group A, and what a talented group this is, mostly with Paris and Man City, but Leipzig are no joke. Now, granted, Leipzig did lose a lot of their talent. They've lost Sabitzer very recently. They lost, I believe, Konate to Liverpool, but they also lost Nagelsmann as their manager to Bayern Munich. And as a result, I don't necessarily see them being the same team that we've really thought so highly of the last couple of years. It's competed with Bayern for their league titles recently as of last season. When it comes to PSG and Man City, it was just too tough to choose. I could see either one of these teams winning. I could see them doing exactly what I predicted, which is splitting. Now, granted, I'm sure the goal differential will end up being one or two different, but I just thought that'd be an unfair way to choose which one of these teams I thought would move forward. Group B is another really stacked group in a lot of different ways. AC Milan are a phenomenal team, in my opinion. Porto are a great team. Milan are playing with a lot of confidence. Porto are always a team that do really, really well in the UCL. And I thought a couple different times, is there a way that I could kick out maybe an Atletico or a Liverpool and have a shocking AC Milan or Porto move forward? And I just couldn't. I think Liverpool are playing fantastic. They seem a lot healthier. Now, granted, Harvey Elliott going down, what a disastrous injury for the young kid. But I do think as a whole, they are healthy. They look very strong. And I think Van Dijk at the back makes a drastic difference for that team. Atletico are just animals in the UCL. They are just a team with a will and a confidence and a demeanor about them, all at the head of Diego Simeone, that seem to just continually do well in the UCL, grinding out results. It's not always pretty, but they find ways to win games. They find ways to turn out results. I could see AC Milan or Porto flipping in that 3-4 spot easily. I could also potentially, I guess, in some way, shape, or form, bar some injuries or a crazy result. Maybe one of those two do slide through at the end of the day. But I just think Liverpool and Atleti are just way too strong of teams. I have Liverpool going ahead, followed by Atletico. But I do think these teams will beat each other up. I think you'll see a lot of draws in this particular group and maybe some really low-scoring affairs. Group C, I think, is the most open group of all the different groups for the UCL. Dortmund look like by far and away the team to go ahead here. They are the most talented. They've been playing with a ton of confidence lately. They had a great finish to the end of last season. They're already starting pretty decently strong this season as well. And at the end of the day, they have Erling Haaland. And having a solidified, dominant man in front of net at the end of the day is such a pivotal piece in terms of making a big UCL run. And Dortmund have that. They are creative, they are fun, they are dynamic, and I could easily see them making a really strong run through the entirety of the UCL. I have them as being one of my dark horses, but also this group I think they'll definitely do really, really well in. Now, Sporting and Ajax and Besiktas to me were all really, really decent teams. Besiktas is playing incredibly well in the Turkish league right now. Ajax are coached by Erik ten Hag, who I think is a brilliant manager who has done a phenomenal job in the UCL in the past, and his teams are always confident. Dusan Tadic is no one to mess around with. David Neres, they are just a talented team from top to bottom. They play very fluid football. I just feel like Liga NOS always has a team that makes somewhat of a run. And this year, I have a feeling it's going to be Sporting. I think that they could easily get out of this group. I think Ajax then will go head-to-head in a lot of different situations. And I wouldn't be surprised if Besiktas come out of this, to be honest. But this is my prediction. Dortmund and Sporting will move on out of Group C. This might come as a surprise to some people, but for Group D, I think Inter are going to finish in first. I think Inter are an incredibly strong and talented team. Now, there was a concern with Conte leaving that they would potentially be a little bit worse off this year, and they might, but they are incredibly talented. They have depth. They seem confident at the beginning of the Serie A season, and I just have a feeling they're going to do really, really well in this group. I'm still not 100% behind the Ancelotti regime over at Real Madrid. He has struggled previously as a manager in his other jobs, especially in lower roles, most recently with Everton. And I'm not sure Real Madrid are the Real Madrid of old. They don't have the same caliber, in my mind, defense. Their midfielders is getting a little bit older as time's gone on. Do I think they have a good UCL run? Yes. Do I think they do really, really well in the UCL? Yes. But I could easily see them not finishing as the number one team in this group. I actually have Real Madrid not drawing, but mostly winning and losing their results. I have Shakhtar Donetsk taking a game from them as well. So, and then FC Sheriff. I'm going to root for them the whole tournament. You kind of have to. Their name is fantastic. Their badge is amazing. I'm hoping they somewhere get a result so they can have a really, really fun memento for their fan base. And I will be an FC Sheriff fan for the entirety of their UCL run. Moving on to Group E, it is a star-studded group. Obviously, Bayern are one of the greatest teams in world football. They are a powerhouse. They have a new manager. They have all the same talent that they always do, and they look like a team that can make another big run, not only in their respective league, but in the UCL. We have Barcelona, who were in complete turmoil or are in complete turmoil. They lost Lionel Messi. Antoine Griezmann is now gone. However, they still do seem to be a team that can churn out results. They still have some talent. They have some young talent as well. Benfica is an interesting group. You always see, once again, Liga NOS teams doing really, really well. Benfica are a team that have had really great UCL runs in the past. And Dynamo Kiev are a team that have been in the UCL a bunch too. But I do think this is a two-horse race. Although Barcelona could potentially collapse, I do have a feeling that they will do really, really well in the group stage here. They have been getting results in La Liga. They are still a talented group. Memphis Depay is playing out of his mind in world football right now. Frankie de Jong is one of the best young midfielders in the entire game. And they are just a team that I think is poised to make a really decent run in the UCL, especially because leagues are usually tougher to win than to do really well in a group stage because you're playing way less games. In leagues, you have to be so consistent for so long. I think when it comes to getting individual results in big games, Barcelona can do so. So Bayern go ahead and take the group pretty convincingly. I do have them losing to Barcelona in one of their games, and then Barcelona follows up with Benfica moving ahead of Dynamo Kiev on a goal differential. This is a really interesting group, I think, when it comes to the second place team. I have Manchester United moving in first. I think they are just so star-studded with talent. Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, obviously the addition of Cristiano Ronaldo. They have a decent backline. Shaw is really coming into his own. Wan-Bissaka, I think, is an animal at right back. Maguire is a spectacular defender. And the addition of Rafa Varane, you could argue that he's the best center back on that team. He has incredible experience not only at the club level, but the international level. And I think is someone that is just an extremely talented and athletic player at the back. They look like a team that is poised to make a UCL run. I actually said earlier in the year that I think that they have a better chance of winning the UCL than they do have of winning the Premier League. Now, that was before getting Ronaldo, but I still think it holds true. They are not a consistent team under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, winning individual major games, which is what the UCL is all about. They are a team that is poised to do that because they are just such a talented team. Now, Unai Emery, He loves the Europa League. We know that about him. But I do have a feeling that he will make a really strong run here in the UCL. They won the Europa League last year. It's what he does best. But they are just a team that seems collective. They actually have some really good attacking talent. Gerard Moreno is no joke in front of net. And they're just a team that's coached well and built very smooth throughout the front and back. Raul Albiol is still a really strong defender at the back of their team. And Atalanta are a team that I personally feel like in the Serie A are maybe in a regression. They had their day at the races. They were a team that was poised to do really well at the UCL last year, someone that people were picking as a dark horse because they have such a fun and crazy offense. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're the same team, nor do they have the same feel about them as a roster as they did even the previous years. As a result, I have them going to the Europa League, and BSC Young Boys will be out of this group. Moving on to Group G is where I chose my sleeper for the UCL. I think RB Salzburg have a legitimate chance to make it out of this group. And the reason why is I think that all these teams are relatively good teams, but I don't look at any of them and think of them as great teams. Now, Sevilla, I do think deserve to get that first place nod. They've been a powerhouse in La Liga for a long time. They're always really, really talented from top to bottom, and they grind out results. So I think Sevilla will run away with the top of this group. However, Wolfsburg are playing really, really well in the Bundesliga. Lille have not played recently well in their own league after an incredible run last year, and Salzburg are playing fantastic in their league as well. I think at the end of the day, these teams could all just beat up on each other, and I have Salzburg moving ahead on goal differential, but I could easily see Wolfsburg flipping in and out of those places, as Wolfsburg have been a really, really talented and confident group in the Bundesliga this season. But this is my sleeper pick. Salzburg moves on to the round of 16. And now for the final group of the prediction. If you have stayed here and enjoyed the predictions, hit that like button and comment who you think maybe I messed up on, or teams that you think I'm out of my mind with my predictions. But here I have Chelsea and Juve moving forward, followed by Zenit and Malmo. And I think at the end of the day, this is a very top-heavy group. I was really, really excited when Juve got this. Now, Juve have been really, really poor lately. Granted, in the last results, it just seems like Szczesny is giving away a lot, but they're still phenomenal at the back. And defensively with Allegri, which is what he does best, I think a lot of teams are going to really struggle to get a lot of goals past Juve, and as a result, they'll beat up on the little guys, maybe get a draw or a win from Chelsea. Chelsea, I think, are just too strong of a team to not give that first place nod. They are incredibly organized. They do not concede goals. And now with the addition of Romelu Lukaku, they have a player up front that can bag goals. And we just saw over the weekend that he is still playing at the level that he was at Inter. His hold-up play is spectacular. He seems like he can easily fit into that team with the dynamic wing positions. And the way that they use a five-back, they just have such a good attacking front and so many different wing backs that can get involved in the play. Azpilicueta is so dynamic as a player, as a right back or as a center back. I think that Alonso's perfectly suited for the way that Tuchel plays. Reece James is coming into his own as a player. And I just think it'd be really, really difficult to not put Chelsea at the number one spot with the way that they're playing, especially on the back of their UCL win. So those are my predictions for the UCL group stages. Comment below what you think I maybe got right or got wrong. If you did enjoy the video, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. And we'll come back to these once all the group stages games are done and see either how smart or stupid I was. Thanks for watching.